As this journal is all about productivity and working, running my household, cooking for my family, and homeschooling my daughters and getting the job done. Hi all my happy little peeps and welcome back to the channel. This is Heidi again here at Happy Scribbles, and I cannot believe that we are already setting up the first quarter of 2026. This year flew by so fast for me. I don't know about you, but it feels like it was, I don't know, like maybe last month I was setting up for the first quarter in 2025, getting ready to have my fourth baby, and knowing that I was going to be postpartum and not really be able to have much time to do setups and spreads and stuff for a while. And so I was getting ahead. And now we're here and it's time to set up for this new year once again. My baby will be 1 soon, and it's blowing my mind, honestly. But anyways, the first thing I wanted to show you today is going to be a system called SPS. So this is for goal setting. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this before, but most successful people have something in common, and that was that they wrote down their goals and looked at them and read them every day. Maybe not specifically a plan. However, the fact that most people who have accomplished great things first wrote them down and then came back to that. And they say come back to it on a daily basis, somewhere you can really look it over so that you can stay focused. So I have a page here. This is my first quarter page. I'm leaving this page here blank. I can use this space here for shopping lists or anything. Okay, so first of all, let me teach you guys this in case you don't know. This is extremely useful. I personally learned about this when I was 16. I went to a biblical archaeology school and I was taught this. And this is called a SPS, which stands for Specific Purpose Statement. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp these here, and then we will get into the making of the actual chart here, and I'll explain to you how it works so that you can use it for your goal setting. Hi guys, voiceover Heidi here. So I had filmed this and I had explained the entire process and kind of how to break the goals down, but it ended up being way too long, and I decided to just give you a quick overview through voiceover instead of adding that much time into the video. So step 1 is identifying your goal. This can be a long-term goal or a short-term goal. For mine, I am only picking a quarterly goal, something that can contribute to a bigger goal and yet be achievable within these next 3 months. So that is to develop better morning and evening routines, as well as being consistent with them, as consistent as I can be. So then I broke that down into the things that would help me to be consistent or what I need to change. So the first thing would be to wake up at the same time every day, kind of to get my body back on a routine with the clock. What's getting in the way of that is having inconsistent hours as far as waking up and going to bed. So my first step to achieving this goal is going to be to wake up at the same time every day. And a very simple step to achieving that goal is to simply set an alarm that repeats at the same time every single day, except for my day of rest, which is Saturday. And then the next little piece of this puzzle is to go to bed at the same time every day. And just being real, it's pretty hard for me to just go to bed if I don't feel genuinely worn out and end up going to sleep. So I added on to set up my side table with my charged book light and a book, and just start going to bed at the same time every evening with my book, whether I'm tired or not. And I was explaining that in order to do that, I need my children to already be in bed. And in order for them to go to bed at the same time every evening, we need to be more consistent with our evening routine. So I made another branch off that specifies and gives me some steps to make that more achievable. Lately, we have been having like an evening time for the family where we all kind of gather around in the family room and play some games, maybe read. It can be different each day, but we have been doing that more often as a wind down time. So I added some things in that will help encourage that, as well as setting an alarm in the evening that signals the beginning of that evening block. So in order to do that, I will make a little flow chart that we can loosely follow for the first couple weeks or so each night, where we do every action in the same order each night so that it becomes a routine and becomes like a signal for our bodies that it's time to prepare for sleep. So we can start with that calm time and then brushing teeth and getting ready for bed. In addition to this, I added on to take a little tote basket and throw in some items in there that encourage this evening time, like some games, maybe a book to read together, coloring pages. Sometimes the girls like to just color in the evenings, stuff like that. And back to live video recording, Heidi. All right, you guys, so there it is. This is our first quarter SPS. And I can decorate this page a little bit more or so while I explain to you. This is for us to look at, consider each day whenever I flip to it, to remind me and give me that focus that I want to have throughout this quarter for reaching and achieving better routines. Okay, so this is basically our purpose. This is what we will be focusing on for this quarter, okay? And then we have our extra space over here for stickies, for anything, any notes, maybe notes for the next quarter, so on and so forth. And now you know how to make your very own SPS, your specific purpose statement for any period of time that you would like, and you know how to break it down. You can imagine if you really make this into a big goal, you could get like a whole tree effect going on where you have your base goal. Let's say that your goal is to buy a house. You can break that down all the way into how you're going to save money with your coffee drinking habits or so. It can be huge. It can break down big, huge goals into itty bitty little bite-sized pieces and actions that you can put into practice every single day. So I love this system. I have used it since I was a teenager and I learned it in Israel at that school. Okay, so with our SPS done, let's flip over to our first spread, which is for our meal planning. So I am making this little system here for planning and recording all the meals that we will eat. It's going to be very basic. I'm going to time lapse this because it's just going to be a lot of lines. So let's go. Okay, so with our flip out list done, I'm going to show you all. So here I have a list that flips out much like our other. It's actually attached to the first one. So you can see I can flip out like that for the calendar, and I can flip this one out for the meals here. This line lines up with this line here. And you can see that each of these lines are the weeks. Let's zoom it in. You can get a close-up. Okay, so here, for example, on week 11, here we have each day of the week. Now, I put the dots on these days, but it's just so that I can easily line up with the different meals. And so the idea here is that using this chart, I can plan out what I want to cook on certain days. So let's just say that on Monday of week 11, I want to plan making chicken and mole. So I will come here and I would put a little mark here. And I can do it just like that in pencil, or I can do it in pen. It doesn't really matter, because when I actually cook whatever is marked, I will put a little cross through it or color in the whole square, however I choose. And that will show me that that was what we had. So you could see how I could go through our most common meals that we eat, and I could stagger them and make sure that we're getting a good mix and not repeating too often, and just kind of go, okay, this one on this day, this one on this day, this one here, this one here, this one here, da 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 da, and then I can literally plan my meals out. However, as you know, if you've ever done any meal planning or prepping or anything like that, it doesn't always go according to plan. And sometimes we become spontaneous and do other things, or sometimes the grocery shopping just can't get done on time to get everything for the menu, and you end up having to be creative and do something else. So in that case, you have your little circle and you just mark off whatever else there was. Down here at the bottom, I put in leftovers, suegra's house, fruta, which means like that we bought fruit from a fruit stand when we were out or ate out. So I'll just be able to mark those ones down here. And that kind of covers the usual things that happen when I don't end up cooking. Now, let's say that I cook a meal that is not on this list, or we have a random snack or something like that that I want to write down. Well, each day is an entire line down. So it's very simple. Let's say that on the 18th here, I ended up cooking a New York steak for my husband, and something that's completely out of the normal, like Alfredo fettuccine or something like that at home, which is not a normal meal that I have on the rotation. Well, all I have to do is write in here New York and Alfredo fettuccine, and I have plenty of room to do that on each line for each day, whatever I want to write in. This also can serve as a way to plan the meals that I want to try out that I have yet to do. And here you see I had this little extra space over here. I turned it into new meals to try area. So as that comes up, I can write down here as little reminders to add those ingredients to my shopping list and look up recipes for any meals that I want to try. I would like to be trying at least one brand new meal per month. So that's just kind of something that's in the back of my mind. I don't need to write that down, but I have a little space here to organize and to plan for that if I so choose. Okay, so you guys, that is it. This is my eats. And I think I've got all of my bases covered here. I like the fact that this serves as a planner and as a record as well. And I have a whole extra page here that I'm just gonna write at the top here notes, because I didn't really have another use for this page and I just want to use it as a place to write in any notes for anything that has to do with the meal planning, my sourdough baking, or stuff like that. Nutrition, perhaps. Okay, moving on to our next spread that we need to set up, and that is my overall zone and cleaning and all of that. And it's going to work much the same, except that in this one I have my list of things here on the side and my weeks, and then I have a little Dutch door system going on here, and our 13th week ends right here. So I'm gonna put you guys back on time lapse, and we are going to get this one done in a jiffy. All right, and then our cleaning, housekeeping page is done. So you can see this is pretty similar to the other one that we did for the meals, except that for this one we have right here, instead of having to flip out, we have our list right here built in, and we have our little Dutch door. So I still have some pencil lines to work on with the actual eraser. These ones don't erase quite as much, but I'll show you. So this is also a system where I have the colored pens and highlighters that I can use that I have assigned to the different spaces. So I use my 3 strongest highlighters and then some of my pens. So I used these, and now I have assigned each one of these to each of these areas. If you want to do this method, then what you do is you break your home up into zones, and then you will go through a list of cleaning in each zone. And some people break it up to where each day of the week is a day for a certain zone, so they will set a timer and just do whatever they can in that room for that 15 minutes for that day. And then some people dedicate a week to a zone, a whole week. So the way that this is going to work is also very simple. Now I can plan it. I can put a dot in on any day. So I have week 1, week 2, blah, 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 all the way through week 13. And I have this whole line down. And then with this bar over here, with all of these cleaning tasks, I have a little bit of space if there's anything that I forgot. And then I have a couple down here that are pretty rare, like cleaning out the car and cleaning out the diaper bag. I don't need to do those all the time, but it's really nice to know when the last time was that I did it. Or for example, say I want to plan ahead and plan to do it on that Tuesday in week 2. I would come down here and I would make a little mark right here. And so I can plan when to do those things according to a timeline that I like, and I can mark that down here. If I don't want to use any executive decision-making energy in my brain on a day, I could sit down and just open this up and see what I had assigned for that day. So let's say there's quite a few things here that can apply to almost any of the areas. So here I have, for example, dust. Now I might go through here and kind of highlight these lines along with their tasks to make sure I don't skew off or anything, but for now I left it simple like this. But let's say that I dust in the common areas, which would be the family room, the girls' playroom, and upstairs landing room. Let's say I dusted in that area and also in my office. So I would take my blue pen and I would also take these and I would put dots on any day that I did it on those with these colored pens and any day that I dusted. So that way I'm marking that I dusted, and I can also tell which area I dusted in. Let's move on to our next spread. Now, I am using this one as a first quarter homeschool overview. I have space for each of our main subjects, and it's going to be very basic. It's just going to have a label, and I'm going to outline the spaces because I don't need to make any trackers to see what we're doing, because I have that over here in my little school tracker area that I will be using along with my calendar. All I want to use this for, just so that you understand, is basically I will write down my notes for what I plan to go over in this quarter in these subjects with my daughters. And I can use my little color code here that I have assigned to them. So here's their colors. And so, for example, for math, I would be writing down for Allie the much more advanced things that we want to be going over with her as she's moving on into high school. And then for Leah, I would be writing down more things like time telling and your, double digits and adding and subtracting and space values, all those more basic things. So I'm just going to outline all of this and label them, and that will be the spread done. Okie dokie, that is our school first quarter homeschool overview. And here are our subjects, here are our spaces, very simple. All done, ready for me to sit down and write out my quarterly plans. We have this one, which I have done in the past, but I have never showed you all. It is for YouTube, and it is for me to plan and track videos. But before we do this, I have someone here
to say goodbye.
Are you going to hang out with me a little bit first?
Yeah.
Okay, well, say hi.
Hi.
Let's talk together. Hi there.
Hi. My name is Leah.
Hi, Leah. Did you have a good day?
Yes, I forgot what I ate today.
You forgot what you ate?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Well, do you remember if it was yummy?
I think it was yummy.
Oh, well, that's good. At least you have that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hear it's time for you to go to bed.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Mom.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so back to the start. Let's just do a quick flip through to sum it all up. I have my calendar system to track the ins and outs and weather and all that fun stuff. And then we're going to go over here to our cover page for the first quarter with our SPS, which stands for Specific Purpose Statement, and our plan all lined out. An extra page here for anything that we might want to do, like a shopping list with sticky notes or anything like that. So that's our cover page for the first quarter, and then we flip right over into our first quarter eats, where we have our little system here with all of our rotating meals that I can use to plan out and to record everything that we eat during this quarter for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and any other things that like eating out or little snacks and stuff like that. And then we have a section here for notes, anything else that maybe I hadn't thought of that I will want to write down regarding the cooking and the meals. And then we have here a clean space and a calm mind spread where I have our cleaning tasks, which I can plan out with dots and then mark off when they get done on any certain day. So I can make a cleaning plan on here, and I can also track everything that actually got done. We have our zones marked out here according to different colors, and I will be marking off when we do each thing in each of these zones. We have it for all 13 weeks of the first quarter. Then we have here just my overview, first quarter homeschool overview, where I will make all of our plans for homeschooling in each of these subjects. I'm just going to write out in general what it is that we want to focus on in each of these main subjects. And then here I have my YouTube spread. This line here will be for video ideas. Then I can mark it off if it's a short or if it's a long, once it's planned, once it's edited, and when it's uploaded. And I have 2 pages, which should be plenty for me. And here we are with our daily spaces. We have a column here to write down a focus, anything that I want to focus or keep in mind during this week, and then a space here for a running list. And a running list is you write down everything that you want or need to get done, and anything that whenever you have a moment to do something, you can check on your list and you can say, oh, you know what, I've got 5 minutes. You can pick something off that takes 5 minutes, you can go and you can do it. And then anything that isn't done next week, we'll migrate it over. And here are our writer Carol style columns. So I am going to be trying this out, which is not a planner, but it is just a way of recording things in your day, thoughts, feelings, happenings as they happen. And then he says the most important part is to go back and to look this over. This had to be in here because this will be the notebook that I have open near me at all times throughout the day on any given day. So that's why I placed it here. And I will be copying this layout for the rest of the week and this one for the beginning of week 2 and so on and so forth. So if any of you are regular watchers of the channel and you are noticing right now that I don't have a space for gratitudes, which is something that I almost never forget, or things like a sleep tracker, and that there's a good reason for that. The gratitudes are not going to be going in this journal because this journal is all about productivity and working, running my household, cooking for my family, and homeschooling my daughters and getting the job done. So I will be calling this my productivity journal for this year, and it has 300 pages. I did the math. I should be able to repeat this setup, maybe slightly different, and then this for each day, and it should last me the whole year, I'm hoping. And you know what I really love about this is that I can do this with it and just have it near me at all times, very easily, you know, workable into my routines. I usually have my bullet journal near me while we're doing our homeschooling. So this, having it on a ring binder like this is very convenient for this purpose. So this is all my productivity. My health journal is a small journal that is not new, and I have done several months in it already. I will be setting that up for the new year as well and just tracking my health stats. So I will put sleep trackers and exercise trackers and stuff like that in there, as well as things like supplements, vitamins, blah, blah, blah. And then for things like my gratitude and memory recording, which is super important to me with my little family, well, I have a whole new Ty Fossey journal special for that I will be sharing very soon. That is going to be my artsy outlet. So you can see this is very minimalist. I didn't do any painting here. I didn't do sketching. This is all just functional. And so if you like the artsy painting, storytelling type style, well, stick around for that one, which will be coming out very soon. I'm really excited to try it out for this new year. I've never done anything like it before, and I'm really excited for it. I hope that it'll be something that you guys enjoy as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this sparked creativity and that it brought you some joy and that you were blessed in some way, big or small, through my little videos that I share. Well, I wish the best for you all and that you will have a wonderful new year. So remember to stay thankful, because a thankful heart is a happy heart. And I will see you all in the next video.
Bye. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
See you in the next video.
See you in the next video. And remember, a thankful heart is a happy heart.
Good night. This is a bonus shot that Leah set up with my phone. As you can see, my phone was perched on this Lysol spray bottle, and she was using a crochet hook gauge to make this bunch of grapes.